going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be continuing episode number 2 in a new series that we made last week, which is City Chat with yours truly, JSGC. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then do subscribe to my channel. We're now less than 900 subs away from my aim of 35,000 subscribers, so any help towards that will be much appreciated. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the live chat whilst we've got it rolling, or in the comments below if you're watching this after the stream has ended. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. So, today, we've only got one real topic of conversation. I want to talk about the international break because we've got, I think it goes on for another 24 hours or so, and then there's that done and dusted. All the players will be spending either this afternoon or this evening travelling back to Manchester to be ready for Manchester City's game on Sunday against Arsenal, which is a huge Premier League clash. It's a must-win game for Manchester City. It's a must-win game for Arsenal. The permutations just couldn't be bigger, and you've got some huge games, not just in the Premier League, but in the FA Cup and also in the Champions League for Manchester City to look forward to as well. So it's a huge, frantic end to the season as we're bidding to do something that's never been done before, and that is to retain a treble. It's never been done before, and right now as we sit here, 27th of March 2024, it very much still is on. Yet we've just come off the back of a 2-week international break. We're needing our players to be fresh, fit, and ready to go for the final push to the end of the season. And I just feel like we're anything but fresh and ready to go. And that's something I really want to get my teeth into and talk to you guys about and get your opinion. We can get my opinion. Hopefully we can have a bit of a contrast of opinion, and we can have a really good football debate today because the international break, as you can see from the title, I absolutely hate this international break in March before an international tournament. World Cups, European Championships, Copa Americas, all the big ones, African Cup of Nations. They're all huge international tournaments. You've got big games coming up this summer in Europe with the European Championships. We've got a big push to the end of the season for every single team out there, not just Manchester City, but everybody else as well. I really want to get my teeth into, do we really need this international break and what has been achieved? Because other than maybe 3 or 4 meaningful games out there in Europe, there hasn't been too much else out there with that much meaning, which has made games pointless for me, and also has run the risk, an unnecessary risk, of players getting injured, not just for Manchester City, but for all the other teams as well. And with City competing on all fronts and other teams competing for their goals, whether that be to avoid relegation, to qualify for Europe, to make playoffs if you're a team sitting in the English Football League, to get to Champions League football for next season, to try and win the Premier League. There's lots of clubs that have different objectives that are going to be decided in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And that has to be spot on from the football clubs. And I just feel like this international break before any major tournament in March it's just a hindrance. It just causes so many problems. So I think, thank you everybody for tuning in, by the way, much appreciated. I can see you guys, English Dawn, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. We'll speak more about the politics and everything, but says it's all about politics and greed, fans counting for very little. England's a prime example of that. We just played 2 matches against Brazil and against Belgium, both games at Wembley. Neither game sold out, but a big attendance in there, so they'll say that was a great success. But a national team, England, playing Brazil, not selling out, it's crazy. Against Belgium, not selling out, empty seats everywhere. You know, everybody, if it was Manchester City, everybody would be making comments. Because it's the England national team, nobody's really making comments. Then games shouldn't be at Wembley, first and foremost. You're spot on. All about Wembley greed and all that money going down there rather than being distributed across the country. There's no reason why that couldn't be played in a more neutral location that's more accessible for more fans outside of London. But here we are. I can say the same about the FA Cup semi-final as well. That shouldn't be at Wembley, in my opinion, either. It should be going back to its traditional roots, which is the semi-final being played at neutral venues. That's fair for all fans travelling down for their games, or travelling up if you're from down south. Herbal, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Said international games, they used to mean something. I remember being a City fan, go back 20 years, so 2024, in the build-up to the European Championships, and these big games, these big qualifiers. Again, it was helped because Wembley was renovating at the time when I first started supporting Manchester City and following football. So games were being played around the country. A lot of games were being played at Old Trafford, and everyone just, with the golden generation, everyone just seemed to feel much better about international football than what they do right now. But it's a business end of the season. It's a hindrance. It blows my mind as to why you've got international friendlies being played in March, at the end of March, in the build-up to a massive push, massive end to the European calendar season for domestic football and European football. It just blows my mind. And I do remember somebody commenting on my Twitter yesterday. They made a very good point. They said that these games are pivotal for Gareth Southgate to get an idea of his tactics, what's working, what's not, what players he wants to take to the European Championships. And I get that. I really do get that. But you have a couple of friendlies to be played before we travel to the European Championships, where you can get a good look at your squad, and then you can cut your squad down from, I think they selected it up to 32 players, and they cut that down, and it normally goes to like 24, 25 players, where you give some of the players who aren't normally given a chance to showcase what they can do. And it's the same again with this England game, with these injuries that's been picked up with Kyle Walker and John Stones. I'm going to speak about that in just 1 second. JSO, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. I'm joining you on that I hate the international break right now. Manchester City fan, thanks for tuning in, cheering on Argentina, picking up a good 3-1 victory, a comeback win against Costa Rica yesterday as well. Chris, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. It says, is that Stones, Walker, Kevin De Bruyne? Haaland got a knock, didn't he? Which is... Thankfully, he's okay. He started for Norway in their last game, so he should be good to go after the international break for Manchester City. But Akanji's got a knock. We've got Kyle Walker, John Stones, uncertainty over Jack Grealish and Edison as well. Big blows then for Manchester City. And if we've not got these players available for that Arsenal game, it's going to be a big, big task for Manchester City. Kyle Walker's been described as 50-50. Thankfully, his hamstring injury isn't as serious as first thought, but Man City are going to have to take precautions when it comes to Kyle Walker. Same with John Stones. John Stones doesn't do 2 games in a week for City because he's injury prone. He's not capable of doing 2 games in a week. Why on earth has Gareth Southgate started John Stones 2 games in a week when his club team doesn't do it all season? Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. JSO says, without Stone, City can't beat any of the big teams so far this season. We've struggled against the big 6 teams this season. We really have. We've made hard work of them. We need our strongest 11 available to put us in the best possible situation to try and get a positive end to the season. And things have been hindered by Gareth Southgate, and I am furious about that. Absolutely furious, guys. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the live chat, but I am furious. So I want to have a look at the England side and just have a good look and digest about what England have selected, what Gareth Southgate has selected, and what he could have done, in my opinion, to have made this a little bit more manageable. So we go to this game on Saturday. So we played Saturday and Tuesday, a turnaround of 3 days. Yeah. And it's just mind-boggling. Blows my mind, it really does. So it's England gone very strong team. Jordan Pickford in goal, Everton starting goalkeeper. Would they have wanted Jordan Pickford to have started that game when you've got other options from the bench, players like Aaron Ramsdale? I don't think Arsenal have wanted Ramsdale being risked for injury, but Sam Johnston never gets given an opportunity. Why couldn't Sam Johnston start that game? Kyle Walker got injured in that game. Does he need to be starting? Absolutely not. You've got players from the bench who would be bidding to try and get into the England squad ahead of the European Championships. Players like Joe Gomez, players like Konsa from Aston Villa. These are the players that should be given the nod that Gareth Southgate can look at and say, they played really well. I want them on the plane to Germany. And we saw that more in midfield. Conor Gallagher didn't really impress. he comes off. Who do you see come on? You see Kobe Mainoo from Manchester United given his opportunity, thanks to injuries, to be put into the England squad. Now everybody's talking about him being given his opportunity and doing a decent job, I thought, in midfield for England as well. All of a sudden, they're talking about him being a certain starter in the European Championships and getting a settled midfield made up of Declan Rice. You'll see Kobe Mainoo go over here on this side of the pitch, and then behind the striker, you'd play Jude Bellingham with, I imagine, Bukayo Saka going on the right wing, and Phil Foden will move over to the left wing, and Harry Kane will start up top. And I think that back line of England is probably what you're going to see. If Luke Shaw's fit and ready to go, I'd take Ben Chilwell out and Luke Shaw will go in, and I'm almost certain it'll be Harry Maguire starting at centre-back because Gareth Southgate has his favourites, and to be fair, Harry Maguire's never really done too much wrong for England. Now, I get if you want to manage your team and go with that, and you can go with the full-strength team, then go with it for that one game against Brazil to see where they're at, what level they're playing with, and assess the tactics from there. What I don't get is we play this game against Belgium, so we lost against Brazil. We go into the match against Belgium. We were trailing both times, 1-0 down and 2-1 down before a late Jude Bellingham equaliser saw England not lose back-to-back games at Wembley since God knows when. Weren't two very impressive performances, I will add. It has made me question whether England are just overrated, but I look towards England's team again. Jordan Pickford, England's regular starter. He'll be starting for England at the European Championships. Why is he starting in this game? Why is other players not being given their opportunity? John Stones, why is he starting? Declan Rice for Arsenal. Arsenal fans must be furious as well, and thankful that he didn't pick up an injury, because they'd be furious if he picked up an injury. As a City fan, I'm furious. I'm furious that John Stones and Kyle Walker have picked up injuries. Liverpool fans are furious. Robertson over at Scotland, he picked up an injury against Northern Ireland. It's a friendly on a Tuesday night before some huge Premier League games at the weekend. These games are pointless as far as I'm concerned. Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid must be furious as well that he's starting. Phil Foden, why? I get the likes of Bowen starting, Tony starting. These aren't going to be starters for England at the European Championships. You give them their minutes. Lewis Dunk as well, Konsa as well. You give them their minutes to see what they can do, and you're assessing all the time as to which players you think would be suitable for England to go to the European Championships. That is what these friendlies are for, and Gareth Southgate's taken his opportunity to put out main, regular playing, starting players to try and get them to gel together at the running risk of injuries. England aren't the team that plays these players' wages. John Stones and Kyle Walker picking up injuries could have a devastating effect for Manchester City's season. It might be the difference between us winning the Premier League or not. It might be the difference between going through to the semi-final of the Champions League or not. Equally, Jordan Pickford, if he picked up an injury, it could be devastating for Everton. It could be so costly that cost them relegation. And you've seen teams crumble and crumble once they go down, once they struggle to get back up. You really do have to think about things when you put yourself in a situation and it comes to these international games. And at the end of the day, I'm hearing it more and more, but to me, I'm not hearing it enough. I just don't think these friendlies are a good idea. At this point in the season, with a big international tournament coming up in the summer as well, a couple of months away, you just don't need to take these risks. Let's say John Stones' injury is serious and he's now out of the European Championships because of a pointless injury and a pointless friendly against Belgium. England's European Championship hopes don't pin on this friendly at Wembley when we're playing in Germany. There's absolutely no point. Gareth Southgate should be rotating that team and looking at all the players that are available for selection, players that aren't normally given their opportunity, who would be proud to stand there on the pitch at Wembley and play for their country, because it is a great honour to do so. To go out there with guaranteed starters at the European Championships and starting them in consecutive games, in international friendlies, when you've got massive Premier League games at the weekend and you've got a huge push to the end of the season, it's all competitive. It's all to play for. I'm absolutely furious. I am absolutely furious about it. Matty, I am not overly fond of Gareth Southgate right now. I don't get onto his back. I think the achievements that he's made with England have been really, he's made good progress with England. I could argue a case that we should have picked up an international trophy by now with the squad that we've got available, but we pushed on from that golden generation. We had a bit of iffy years, 2008 through to 2016. We've pushed ourselves further beyond. We've got some real good top-class upcoming talent there. And England now semi-finals and above on a consistent basis, beating some of the very best teams in the world, and they're just not doing that. Flat-track bullies is what England are. Comes to qualifying for tournaments, they're fantastic at it, have great records in that. Comes to group stages at these international tournaments and you're taking on the lower-ranked teams, England are fine, they'll go through. They'll get to the last 16, if they go up against anyone tricky, they'll head out. That's how England are, that's what England do. It's very frustrating. And to me, England don't make the semi-final of this tournament. Gareth Southgate should be sacked on the spot for the squad that he's got available. I don't care if that means we go out to the Netherlands or Portugal or France or Germany. I don't care. England have got one of the best squads in Europe. That squad is more than good enough of semi-final after semi-final. It's good enough to reach finals. It's good enough to win tournaments as far as I'm concerned. So there's a lot that England aren't doing right as far as I'm concerned. Stu, afternoon, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. There's a lot for England to learn. There's a lot for Gareth Southgate to learn. And at the moment, I'm not entirely convinced Gareth Southgate knows who's going to be on the plane to Germany. He doesn't know his starting 11. He doesn't really know how to get the very best out of the players like Phil Foden, like Jude Bellingham. And if you're not getting them involved as much as possible, England, they stand no chance. And I wouldn't rule out Gareth Southgate saying, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, you go on the bench because I'm going to start Marcus Rashford. That's what Gareth Southgate does. And that ultimately, I think, will be the downfall for England. And the decisions that he's making right now in these international friendlies and the implications that it's having on teams up and down the country and across Europe, with Jude Bellingham playing for Real Madrid as well, and running the risk and doing back-to-back starts in international friendlies, in the back push to the end of the season, it's just mental, absolutely crazy. Stu, I have no idea who England would go for after Gareth Southgate. As long as they leave Pep Guardiola alone, I'm not too fussed. I'm very much on a Man City first, England come second. Obviously, I do like my international tournaments and stuff. Who doesn't? We'll be supporting England, of course, for the European Championships, but there has to be a time when criticism is warranted, and I think there's some criticism warranted for Gareth Southgate for his team selections and the performances and the results that England would be looking for. And judging what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, I don't think England are going to win the European Championships. And we've potentially seen Kyle Walker and John Stones out injured for a huge game against Arsenal. We've got Aston Villa at home after that, playing a team sitting in fourth. Week after that, we've got Real Madrid. There's huge games. These risks don't need to be taken, and Gareth Southgate's chosen to take these risks. And if I was Pep Guardiola and I was Manchester City, I'd be absolutely furious. As a City fan, I feel very passionately about this. I'm furious about it myself. As I said, guys, I would love to know your thoughts of this in the comments below. Don't really have too much else to talk about. I've done my loan reports that you can go and check out for you guys if you so wish. That would be much appreciated. England women's manager is doing a fantastic job as well. And they win things. They win things, you know. Winning breeds winning. It's a mentality. It is a mentality. Anyway. Got my loan reports. You can go and check them out. Transfer update I put out yesterday for you guys to look forward to. Got my Premier League predictions coming up tomorrow, and then we'll have all the build-up as the international break thankfully done and dusted. And we'll have constant City content from now until the end of the season. What I'm hoping, fingers crossed, will be a very successful push to the end of the season. Not aided or helped by England or Gareth Southgate, and another hurdle for Manchester City to deal with. Huge game coming up against Arsenal. Rico Lewis could well be started in that game if Kyle Walker and John Stones aren't fit for that game. Love to know your thoughts of that. Do let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. So don't forget, if you are new around here, please do subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. That would be great. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How much do you hate the international break? Do you hate it as much as I do? Do you love it? You know, as I said, contrasting of opinions. Get them in the comments below, and I'll see you all again real soon for the next Manchester City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now. Thank you everybody for tuning in and interacting with me today. We'll be back with another episode of the City Chat next week. Stu, thanks for tuning in. English Dawn, Mohammed, Matty, and everybody else. JSO as well for tuning in. Much appreciated. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you all again real soon.